All right. Well, welcome to yoga. Shelly Peterson, your instructor tonight. So come to easy seated pose, crisscross applesauce, and comfortable. So if this isn't comfortable for you, of course you can put a blanket under your hips or a pad or something to raise your hips up, or you can sit with your legs out long, whichever works for you. All right. Don't need those. And I always like to start my practice by taking a couple breaths in through the nose, open mouth exhale, out, and let go of some of that stress that's going on in my life. And I just want to get to this Zoom meeting. Speaker is on. Good. Okay. And breathe in. I like to do a couple of those breaths. Breathing in through the nose. Open mouth exhale. And let it go. And clear the flesh away from the hips a little bit. And then come to breathing in and out through the nose. As I lengthen up through the spine, nice long spine here, I want to breathe way down into my belly. And I'm using my diaphragm to pull and inflate the belly. And then lift up into the rib cage. And lastly, into the throat. And then on the exhale, you pull the belly button in. Exhaling from the bottom to the top out. And slow the breath down, breathing in. Bringing a nice pause and exhaling out. And it's really nice if you can slow the exhale down and make it just a little bit longer than your inhale. Pause in between the exhale and the inhale. So I bring a gentle constriction to the back of my throat, bringing in what we call an Ujjayi breath. Ujjayi means victorious. What this does is it calms the mind, brings focus to the body, to your awareness of your body, helps with focus. And then I invite you to bring your hands to your heart center and set your intention for the evening. The thumbs come to the heart to seal your intention. The purpose of the intention is to bring focus to your practice. If your mind begins to wander, like the basketball players and the movie going on next door, is I can focus on my intention, what it is I need to bring to my mat tonight, which I forgot. So breathing in. And exhaling out. And then we'll work on the head and neck to get warmed up a little bit here. So I'm going to lift up, roll my shoulders forward, back, and down, opening up my heart, pulling the shoulders away from my ears, taking a breath in, lengthening, and on the exhale, I'm going to lift my right ear to my right shoulder and feel this long stretch along from ear to top of shoulder. So it's a lift as though you had a ball under your chin. And you breathe into any tension that's in your neck. And then on the inhale, you come back up to center. And on the exhale, you lift over to the left. If you get your rights and lefts mixed up, it's no big deal. I'm going to work both sides of the body. Don't jump in or out of a pose to switch sides. Just do that side, and then when I say switch, we switch to the other side. Inhale, come back up. And on the exhale, lift the chin forward. Once again, we're not dropping the chin, we're lifting the chin forward. So there's this long stretch in the back of the neck. Inhale back to center. Exhale, lift the chin towards the ceiling. Be mindful of any pain you might have in the neck from old injuries or anything. If this doesn't feel comfortable, you can use your hands behind your back, your neck to support the head, or not do the pose at all. Just simply breathe. But if you can tilt that chin up, it's a really nice way to drain the sinuses and open up all this ductwork down into the glands so it can be eliminated out of the body. Inhale to center. Exhale, lift over to the right. Inhale to center. Exhale, lift over to the left. Inhale to center. Exhale, lift forward. Inhale to center. Exhale, lift the chin towards the ceiling. Inhale to center. And feel that in the body. All right. So coming to the shoulders, warming the shoulders up. Just wiggle them out. Do a little random movement if you hear. Keep that integrity in the spine. And then we're going to take a breath in and roll the shoulders forward and up. And on the exhale, slide the shoulders down the back. Rotating. Trying to match the breath with the movement. If you're a real slow breather and deep breather, you might do a whole rotation on the in breath and a whole rotation on the exhale. Maybe you're not used to yoga breathing yet. You might do a full breath just on the lifting of the shoulders and a full breath in and out on the fall of the shoulders. One more time. And then reverse the direction. Breathe up the back. Exhale down the front. Ooh. Sometimes I have a little hitch in my giddy up when I do it this direction from an old shoulder injury. And come to center and feel that in the body. All right, so moving into a very gentle twist. Don't want to go real deep into a twist until we get warmed up. Nice long spine, and I want you to imagine that your spine is a spiral staircase coming from the tailbone to the crown of the head. So it's not a cranking in any part of the back, it's a gentle rotation all the way up the back. So I'm going to bring my arms out like angel wings, breathing in, and on the exhale, I'm going to rotate to the right. Bring my left hand to my right knee and my right hand in behind me. And I'm going to push away from the mat. And I'm going to draw that breath from the tailbone up to the crown of the head, wrapping that breath up the spine. And on the exhale, I'm going to push it down as it unravels back through to the base of the spine. Twists are really good for working on breath. Helping eliminate waste out of the body. Taking a breath in, open wings. And on the exhale, slowly rotate all the way over to the left. I'm going to bring my right hand to my left knee and my left hand in behind me. Once again, I'm focusing on that length in my spine. I'm going to breathe in, tailbone to crown. Exhale, crown to tailbone. And then taking a breath in, open the wings up, gentle. And on the exhale, come back to center and feel that in the body. All right. Coming into a little cobbler's pose here. I'm going to bring the soles of the feet together and bring my heels in as close to the hips as my knees allow. So if you've got really healthy knees, you might be able to bring those heels right into the pelvis area. If you have old knees like me, maybe not so much, and that's okay. So I'm going to grab a hold of my ankles or my shins here. I want to make sure my back is nice and long, that I'm not humped over with my shoulders. And I'm going to roll the shoulders away from the ears and take a nice big breath in. And on the exhale, I'm going to try to bring those wings, those butterfly wings, to the floor and breathe. This is a really good stretch if you have tight hips. Maybe you've sat too much during the COVID thing. It's a nice stretch, nice healthy stretch. Not a big fan of the forward fold that goes with it, because if it's done incorrectly, it can really mess up your lower back. Just this stretch right here. Breathing in. As I breathe, my knees are lowering with every exhale. So I'm breathing away the tension in my hips. Of course, if you're in your home, you can turn the heat up. Do this in a bathroom or a small room with lots of heat. You can really, really stretch the hips with a little extra heat. All right, on an inhale, I'm going to bring my hands out to the knees and close the knees gently. And I'm going to make my way to standing on my hands and knees. All right, so my knees are under my hips, hip width apart. Tops of the feet to the floor. If you have a hard time doing this, feel free to roll up a towel under the fronts of your ankles to give that natural position here. Hands are under the shoulders, shoulder width apart. Spread your fingers and thumbs out so there's the same distance between all of them, and you're making a little bit of a suction cup with your the palms of your feet, or palms of your hands. Come to a level spine. Neck is an extension of the spine. Breathe in. Exhale completely out. Pull that belly button up and in. And then on the next inhale, sway the back. Tilt the pelvis up. Open up through the heart. Lengthen through the neck and gaze a little bit forward. And on the exhale, you're going to pull those bathroom muscles up and in. The whole pelvis floor. Pull the core up and in as though you're trying to bring that belly button to the spine. Arch over your shoulders and gently tuck the chin. And this is cat pose. And you're flexing here with all the pelvis muscles in your core. And on the inhale, you sway the back and you release the muscles. Exhaling. Pressing away from the floor. Going at your own pace here. If you have a little bit too much forward motion with your shoulders, you might want to go deeper into the cow pose and less into the cat pose. If you know you have a little too much sway in your back, you might want to take it gentle with the cow pose. And on the exhale, really arch into that cat pose. Releasing, flexing. And then come to center and feel that in your body. All right. So we're going to move into a little core balance. Take a breath in, and on the exhale, we're going to extend out through the left leg, pressing through the heel, leveling the hips, adding the right arm. I'm going to bring the hand facing in, draw that shoulder away from the ears a little bit, and breathe. Core is engaged, gaze is at the top of your mat. You can stay here, or you can come out to the side. And the last little part would be to reach back for your left foot, center that knee, and then on the inhale, you begin to draw that leg up. Beautiful quad stretch here, and breathe. Modified peacock pose. And then wherever you're at on the inhale, come back to center. Exhale and release. And feel that in the body. Inhale, and on the exhale, other leg. Press through the right heel, level the hips, add the left arm. Draw the shoulder back and breathe. On an inhale, come out to the side. This is where I always start to warm up. And the last part, like I say, you can stay at the very first pose. This knee's a little tender, so I got to be really careful where I find that center. And breathe. On an inhale, come back to center. Exhale, release. All right. Two options here. Big toes can come together. Knees out a little bit wider than your hips. Inhale, and on the exhale, draw the hips back. Or you can keep the legs parallel and fairly close together. Inhale, and on the exhale, draw the hips back towards the heels. Forehead comes to the earth. If you're unable to bring the forehead to the earth, you can stack your hands and bring the forehead to your hands. Releasing what doesn't serve you. If you think about the history of this pose, people bowed to kings and queens, they bowed to priests, they bowed to spiritual leaders. So the bowing is letting go of what doesn't serve you, so that when you came to face that person of a higher status, that you trusted them. So to me, for me spiritually, the bowing is letting go of all the crud going on and breathing in. So when I come up, I'm connecting with what I believe in, what I believe is beyond me, and I'm going to trust that spirit to guide me. And I have to let go of some stuff so there's room for his message. So breathing in and breathing out. And then on an inhale, gently bring your head forward, come back up towards that tabletop. You're going to keep your hands planted, tuck the toes of your feet, and come into a plank pose here. And breathe. Inhale, and on the exhale, come into a downward facing dog and stretch. So weight is on the L of the thumb of the forefingers and cross the knuckles. Drawing the shoulders back away from the ears, bringing my tailbone towards the ceiling, and then drawing the heels towards the earth and breathe. Inhale, come back into that plank pose and hold it. Yoga push-ups. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, plank pose. Exhale, down dog. What's nice about plank and down dog is down dog's a resting pose, and you don't normally feel that sometimes because you're like, this is work. But then when you come into plank pose, you're like, oh no, this is work, and down dog is rest. Last one, exhale, downward facing dog. All right, so I am going to walk my hands back without the blanket and come into a nice deep knee bend, belly fully resting on my thighs. I can keep my hands on the floor for support, or I can bring my hands to opposite elbows, inhaling, and on the exhaling, dropping my head towards the floor. My back is fully supported, and I'm breathing. Some people like to roll around here a little bit. That's okay. You can breathe in, open your arms up, and on the exhale, cross your arms the other way and feel the difference in your shoulders. Try to lift the hips up a little bit. All right, I'm going to release my hands, bring my hands to my knees. I'm going to begin to lengthen through my spine, keeping my head and neck kind of soft, and help myself make my way to standing. All right. I'm going to have a sip of water. Never gulp water during yoga, just gentle sip. All right. So coming to the back of my mat. Sometimes I even like to pick up my feet. Come up on the balls of the feet, bounce the energy down. Baby bend in the knees. Spread the feet out nice and wide. Lift all 10 toes. Bring them down one at a time. When you lift up out of the knees, you're kind of pulling these muscles up and in. There's a gentle inner rotation of the thighs. The hips come nice and level. Lift up through the rib cage. Roll the shoulders back and down. Open up the arms, mountain pose. So from the neck down, your body's engaged here. It's a pose. And you're breathing. My core is pulled in gently. My Mula Bandha, my pelvis muscles are pulled up and in. Breathing becomes a little bit restricted because of the core. Inhale, sweep up. I am created in divine love. And on the exhale, push the energy away. Breathing up, I am sustained in divine love. And exhale out. Breathe in, I am protected by divine love. And exhale out. Whatever you believe in. And the last one, I am ever growing in divine love. And exhale out. Bring your hands to your heart. Find your center, find your intention. Taking a breath in, you're going to breathe up. Interlace your bottom 3 fingers and come into a steeple grip. Your ears are between your arms. Baby bend in the knees. Inhale, and on the exhale, I'm going to lift up and over to the right. So it's a long stretch. My whole left side body is stretching. My right rib cage is still lifted. I'm not collapsing down. It's as though I was laying over a big Pilates ball. I'm stretching. Reaching, my right hand is gently pulling my left hand over to the right. And breathe. Inhale, come back up to center. And on the exhale, lift over to the other side, to the left for me. And breathe. Inhale, come back up to center. Exhale, lift up and back. Reach back and breathe. Inhale, come back up to center. Wiggle that outside pinky and switch your grip so your other pinky is to the outside. I call this my wonky grip. Right brain, left brain stuff here going on. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, reach over to the right. Lift over. Feel that stretch. Inhale back to center. Exhale, lift over to the left. Feel that stretch. Inhale. Exhale, lift back. Reaching back. Inhale, come back up to center. Open your arms up, shoulder width apart, and on the exhale, drop those hips down as though you were sitting into a chair behind you. All right, long spine. We're not trying to reach forward with the hands. We're trying to reach towards the ceiling. Breathing in, dropping those hips behind. Glance down. You should be able to see your big toes. So I have about 60% of my weight in my heels, 40% in the balls of the feet. I'm lifting the toes, inhaling, and on the exhale, I'm trying to root down into those hips and breathe. And breathe. Keeping the knees bent, take a breath in, and on the exhale, begin to drop the hips and come into a squeeze here. Hands can come to the floor or float all the way back, interlacing the hands and coming into a bent knee, forward fold. Nice shoulder stretch here. Oh, feels good. And breathe. On an inhale, I'm going to release the hands, come back all the way up to standing, and exhale my hands to heart center. Step my feet together, hands, thumbs come to the sternum, taking a breath in. Inhale, and on the exhale, I'm going to sit down in my chair and squeeze my legs. Knees back behind my toes, breathing in, thumbs to the sternum, breathing out. Now you can stay here and just firm up the whole bottom area, or you can inhale and on the exhale, rotate gently to the right. And if you can, bring that left shoulder to the inside of the left knee or to the outside of the right knee. Now your left knee is going to want to bump forward a little bit. You want to keep it lined up with the right knee. Press on your prayer hands and come into a twist and a little challenge for balance. And breathe. On an inhale, come back to center. Find your center. And then on the exhale, you're going to rotate to the left. Right elbow comes to the inside of the right knee or to the outside of the left knee. Press on your prayer hands and breathe. The goal is to bring your thumbs to your sternum. Right knee wants to drop forward now, so keep an eye on that. And breathe. On an inhale, come back to center. Hands come to the floor. Walk the feet out so they're shoulder width apart. Sweep the hands behind you. Find your other grip, your wonky grip. Inhale, lift those arms up. And breathe. On an inhale, keep the knees bent. Sweep up with the arms. Exhale, hands to heart center. And breathe. All right. Moving into a little warrior flow here. I am going to swivel my left heel in and step forward with my right foot. Now in a real world, men, women who probably haven't had children can line those two heels up together. Me, I'm a little bit larger. I have a lot of hip going on here, so I'm going to walk my right foot out a little bit, so I'm a little bit railroad track. I'm going to bring my left hand forward to align my hips so they're facing forward. And then inhale my hands into an upward salute and breathe. Now if your arms are tired in any yoga, most standing yoga poses, you can bring your hands to your heart or to your hips or upward salute. and breathe. If you have a bad shoulder, you can bring that arm down. Totally feel your body here. Some people like to come into a steeple grip here. And then we're going to drop down and draw, do a little archery. We're going to bring our bow and draw our bowstring back and open up into Warrior Two. My hips turn so they're with the long part of the mat. This knee wants to drop in. I'm going to keep it tracking my second toe and open up into Warrior Two. Gazing out over my front hand. My body is centered and breathe. Some people want to reach over like this, but the actual pose is more upright, taking up as much space on the planet as is yours. Flip the front hand palms up and inhale, sweep to the ceiling, left hand to the side, chin to the armpit. Take a breath in, hope you had deodorant on, and reach for the ceiling. And breathe. Exalted Warrior. You want a little bit more, you want to keep this left rib cage lifted, you can lift up and back into Reverse Warrior. It doesn't always feel good in my body, so I don't always teach it, but sometimes I want that little extra stretch. Inhale, come back up to center, and on the exhale, sweep that right forearm to the side. Inhale the left arm to the ceiling, and this is your beginning side angle pose. Then you can just open up here, reaching and lifting your heart towards the ceiling, not letting this top arm drop back. It's lifting towards the ceiling, or you can reach for the floor and come into your side angle pose. And breathe. Inhale, and on the exhale, bring the left hand down, and we're going to turn and come up on the toes of the left foot. And we're coming into this little runner stretch here. And I'm going to just open up this hip, maybe walk my right foot a little bit farther out. Some people can come down to their elbows here. I don't think I can. And breathe. Nice stretch for the hips. And then I'm going to walk up and a little more graceful than that, come into my Warrior Two. All right, hands come to the hips, and I'm going to come into a wide-legged stance here. So my toes are in a little bit, heels are out, and my hands come to the crease of the hips, not to my waist. I'm not bending at my waist. I'm bending here where the femur hooks into my pelvis, rolling my shoulders back and down. I'm going to check my back for a nice long back. Take a breath in, and on the exhale, I'm going to hinge right at the hip here. And I want to imagine that my back is straight all the way down. Not too bad. And then I'm going to bring my hands to the floor. Take another breath in. And on the exhale, I'm going to use my hands to pull my body long, my back long, my head towards the floor. And eventually walk my hands back and do some nice breaths here. Breathing into any tightness in the back of the legs, back of the knee. Always have the option to bend the knees a little bit here, or you can use a block or a book to come down on if this is too intense. On an inhale, lift up, bring your left hand under your heart, and come into even weight between the lowered hand and the 2 feet. And then I'm going to take a breath in, I'm going to inhale, and I'm going to lift up through my heart, my right hand to the ceiling. Breathing in. Exhale, slow change, bring my right hand down. Nice and slow, replace the left hand. Inhale, left hand lifts up through the heart, opens to the left. Exhale, slow change on the breath. Inhale, right hand. Exhale. Inhale, left hand. Exhale. Inhale, right hand. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, bring the left hand down. Reverse the hand position so the wrists are facing forward. And this can be really intense if you have texting thumb or been on the computer or texting a lot. So be mindful here. You can walk the hands under and you can make how much stretch by rocking back and forth here that you want on your wrists. If it's tender, maybe don't even do any rocking. Just simply hold the pose and breathe. And you're imagining you're opening up all these little bones and tendon connections and cartilage that's in our wrists, all these blood vessels, and like 35,000 nerve endings come through your wrists. So yeah, when your wrists hurt, it's painful. So we want to keep them healthy, keep the thumb healthy. I don't know about you, but the whole opposable thumb thing works for me. I want to keep it that way. All right, I'm going to reverse the hands and come up on my fingertips a little bit. And I'm pushing away from the mat and pulling my pelvis muscles up and in, and I'm pulling my core up and in. And I kind of lift up into what I call a half lift. And my hands come back to my hips, and I'm going to find that integrity in my back, and I'm going to inhale and come up really slow because I'm on medication. Especially when we come into the winter flu and cold season. Cold medicine and yoga sometimes don't mix very well. So be really careful when you do forward folds and come up out of them. Trust me. All right, where are we at? Other side. So let's toe heel in. Come to the back of your mat if you have a mat. As you can see, you don't need to have a mat. You can do this. Carpet's a little hard to do. Floors work for me better. Back at home, I don't ever use a mat. I just use my wood floors. I'm going to swivel my right heel in and step forward with my left foot. Once again, I'm going to railroad track my feet just a little bit. If you're real slim and tiny, you can keep those heels aligned. All right, and then I'm going to bring my right hand forward to bring my hips forward. I'm a little tighter on this side. On an inhale, coming up into my upward salute and breathe. So this knee stays right over the top of the ankle and never comes forward in front of it. All right, and breathe. Spreading my feet out, bringing a little bit of weight to the outside edges of my feet and trying to lift my arches to help with plantar fascia and keep my arches healthy, which of course as we age can cause problems. And breathe. The power is coming out of this back leg. It comes up through the hips and out through my arms, and this front leg is holding me steady. So if somebody was to come up to me and try to give me a push, I wouldn't move. And then I'm going to draw my bow and arrow. I'm going to drop that left hand down, draw the string, opening up, watch that left knee so it doesn't drop in. Extend out, gaze over my left arm, and breathe. Flip the front hand, palms up, reach up, lift up out of the top rib cage, bottom rib cage, reach for the stars, and breathe. Imagine you're on top of a mountain and you're trying to grab a hold of a comet by the tail. And breathe. If you want reverse, you can lift up and back, keeping this right rib cage lifted, stretching, and breathing. Inhale, and on the exhale, bring that left forearm to the thigh. Inhale the right hand to the ceiling, opening up here if you wish, and breathe, or you can reach for the floor. Into the full side angle pose. Now you notice on this side, I reach for the floor, my top arm wants to come forward, so I should have a block. I should be about right here in this pose, because this is my tighter side from old injuries. And breathe. Inhale, and on the exhale, bring the right hand down,
Flatten the two hands and come up onto the toes of the right foot. Coming into this little runner's stretch again. It's all right now for the knee to come in front because our hands are helping support that knee. And then we can press down. And some people can come down onto their elbows. I don't think I can. And breathe. Used to be able to. Some people can lay out flat like my daughter. Just looking for a nice stretch in the hips, helping firm up the back leg. Inhale, and on the exhale, swivel that heel down, hands in prayer, and hinge back up. Come back into your warrior two. Exhale, hands to the hips, and toe heel in. Face you again. And this time I'm going to come into a wide-legged stance with my heels in and my toes out, coming into horseman or goddess pose, whichever you choose. Long spine, okay? And I'm going to straighten the legs and bring my arms up overhead, five-pointed star. Here again, you have the option to hands to heart or hands to the hips if your arms are tired. Inhale, and on the exhale, you're going to come into a squat. Keep those knees wide. Bring those hips down. Try to level them with it. And come into cactus arms. And then inhale up. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Do as many of these as you want. Up 100. I'm going to do like 10. Really good for firming the bottom. When you get to your last one, come into the squat, and if you want, try to lift your heels and come into like position 5 or something for ballet. It's tricky. I'll lower my hips a little bit. They have a bar for support. We don't. And then on the inhale, drop the heels. Bring the hands to the hips. Toe heel in. And we'll make our way to the floor. Alrighty. So, once again, I'm going to come to seated. Nice long spine. Have a sip of water. It's always good to have a sip of water before belly button rolls. So nice long spine, and I'm going to breathe in and I'm going to find my belly button with my breath. And on the exhale, I'm going to rotate counterclockwise the belly button. And as I come back here, I'm pulling my core in and breathing as I move. Some people kind of want to hold their breath in this. And I'm using my arms to make the circle with my belly button as large as I can. So counterclockwise is the yang or the masculine energy. So what we're trying to do here is we're trying to use that diaphragm to massage into the front of the spine, the inside part of the spine. I guess it's all inside, but the front of the spine is towards the digestive center. And use it like a little airbag to maybe have a little decompression. And then as we're rotating the spine, trying to maybe clear away any calcium deposits or arthritis that might be coming to visit in your spine. And breathing as we move. One more time. And when you come to center, feel that in the body. Some people will get a little lightheaded in these. That's perfectly normal. Just stop and take a couple breaths. And we're moving stuff through the digestion here.
We're also getting deep into the lymph nodes, which can dislodge some toxins. So that's why we want to drink a lot of water afterwards and push this through the elimination cycle out of our body. All right, take another breath in. Find the breath in the belly button, and on the exhale, you're going to rotate clockwise, the yin, the female energy, the nurturing energy. Yang burns away what is plugged up in us with apana. There was only one word in Sanskrit for waste. All waste, mental waste, spiritual waste, physical waste, and it was apana. You know, let that shit go kind of thing. And now the feminine nourishes the body. So if you imagine this breath in that diaphragm as it's pushing into those organs, into the colon and the digestive tract, into the spleen and the pancreas and the liver, as we're breathing, we're pressing them and then we're turning and kind of massaging them. Diaphragm breathes in, squeeze them. One more time. And come to center and feel that. And that's good. All right, we need a couple back bends in here. So we're going to do some bridge and then move into a reclining twist to finish up the practice. So I'm going to come down onto my back. And in my yoga classes, you come down gentle to your back. I never understood just flopping down. And find that place where the whole back is supported on your mat or on your blanket like I am, and feel that, okay? It should have a natural curve to the lower back here, okay? And then I like to bring my knees up and then do a little rolling across the top of the hip. Just moving in, compressing that lower back into the mat. If you have a little too much curve in your back, usually these feel really good. And just releasing some tension. Rolling around here, feeling what feels good. Remember, we're going to go both ways, reversing the direction. Inhale on the exhale, bring the feet to the bed or to the mat. Bring them up fairly close to your hips and hip width apart. All right, so my bridges are done a little bit differently than some teachers. This was taught to me by my anatomy teacher out of Portland. So we're going to imagine we're cutting off going to the bathroom. So as I begin to tilt my pelvis up, like I'm tucking my tail, I'm pulling my bathroom muscles up and in, really firming up those bottom muscles. And then I'm going to begin to lift my hips up, pushing my hips away from the floor, and I'm keeping those muscles completely engaged as I come up and roll up onto my shoulders one vertebrae at a time. And that's on the inhale. And then I'm holding this, and my entire hip area is engaged. Okay, my core is engaged. And I'm lifting and I'm using my feet to push away from the mat. I'm going to take a breath in, and on the exhale, I'm going to come down just like I came up. So I'm going to come down one vertebrae at a time, feeling each one touch the blanket. And then only when my hips and then my tailbone do I release the pelvis. And then I'm going to inhale, tuck that tail, pull those pelvis muscles in. Inhale up and exhale out. I'm releasing the muscle. Inhale, lift up. Keeping that pelvis engaged. This is really good to help keep our pelvic floor strong. When you lose your ability to control
your bowels and bladder, you usually lose your ability to walk. Not to mention, this is just good core workout, gentle back bend as we lift up. Full release when you get to the bottom. And exhale out. Just come to feel that on the mat. All right. And then I like to do this little core thing after I do bridges, where I bring my knees up 90 degrees and I flex through my heels. And hopefully my shins are parallel with the floor and my knees are pointed right at the ceiling. So this front of my thigh should be parallel with the wall behind me. Okay? So you can glance at your phone, glance at your thing to make sure. Now these knees never come past the center line. Okay? They stay right here. Because I can do these all day. All right, but these are a little bit more tough. So I bring my hands up to my knees and I'm going to press in here to get that muscle memory of where these legs need to stay. And so for some of us, this might be it. This is a good core workout right here. Now I'm going to bring my hands to the floor. I'm going to inhale and on the exhale, I'm going to lengthen through that right leg, press through the heel, and then inhale up. Exhale the left leg. Press through the heel. Inhale up. We're going to do 4 on each side. When you finish your 4th round, you exhale, bring the feet to the floor. So my anatomy teacher is a doctor, physical therapist doctor. She wrote the anatomy section of the Yoga Journal for 20 years. She's out of Portland. She comes to Minnesota once a year, except of course this year. And does some pretty intensive training in yoga to help avoid injuries. So doing that move 3 days a week, 4 on each side, that's it, will help strengthen your lower back. If you've got back problems and hip problems, this one really helps. Like I say, it's nice to use a mirror or something so that you know those legs are staying at that 90-degree angle. All right, so we're going to come into a supine twist here. Move my water bottle out of the way. I always tip them over when I am in class. I'm going to bring my hands out to a T, palms down. All right? I'm going to take a nice breath in, and on the exhale, I'm going to lift my knees over to the left. I'm stacking my right knee on top. Now, if this is pretty intense, you can put a blanket or a pillow under this bottom knee. Some people will put a block between their knees. Whatever feels good here in the supine twist. And this is a great one. I do this one in bed before I get out of bed. I usually go to the restroom when I get up, and then I go back to bed with my little phone alarm on for 15 minutes. And I'll do a couple supine twists in bed, just to get my back stretched out from sleeping. Now, my right hip is lifted. I want to wiggle so my right shoulder is on the floor and supported. And there again, you can roll up a towel under your shoulder if you need to, but don't have that shoulder wrenched up like this and just hanging there. Have some support. This is a supported pose. It should feel good. Kind of that same breathing that we did with the seated twist, where we're kind of breathing from the pelvis up into the top of the head and exhaling from the top of the head out. Feeling that whole length of the spine as it does this gentle turn. And then you can add to gazing out over your right hand and come into the full twist here. Couple more breaths. This is definitely one of my favorite poses. And then we're going to inhale and bring the knees back up. Head comes up first. I'm sorry, that was not a good cue there. So the head comes up first always. You always center the head before you center anything else. And then feet are back hip width. I can lift my hips a little bit, make sure I'm still centered on my mat. I'm going to take a breath in, and on the exhale, I'm going to bring the knees over to the right. Left hip comes up. Left shoulder, once again, should stay rooted. Eyes are always open during the twist, and then I gaze out over my left arm. And you probably heard my back crack. Sometimes if my hip is out, I can actually get it in without going to the chiropractor doing this pose. And breathe. Eyes are open, allowing light to enter the kundalini that lives in our spine, the energy center. The yogas knew that energy lived in our spine. They knew if something happened to it, in those days, it ended your life. And they believed that that kundalini energy that kept our body healthy through our spine needed light. And as you breathed in with your eyes open, you were bringing that light into your spine, creating a healthy spine. Flexible spine is a flexible mind. Couple more breaths. Inhale, head comes to center, knees come to center. Lift the hips up, find a nice spot on your mat, and you can lengthen out the legs. You can roll up a blanket under your knees and give your knees some support, or just simply bend the knees. If you have back problems, I recommend doing Shavasana or corpse pose with your knees up. Hands come out, the palms reach up, about a 45-degree angle out. If that feels good, sometimes I'll bring my left hand to my heart, my right hand to my tummy if the floors are cold in a yoga class, and they often are. Or if you're teaching at Brookside on the lunchroom floor, I just don't like touching the floor with my hands, so I do this. And close your eyes softly and bring that focus inside yourself. Play with different parts of the body if you're not used to meditating. You can focus on your heart, your throat, the brow, the point between the brow, not my glasses. I bring that brow point inward to the center of my brain, to where the pituitary gland lies. Release your jaw, open and close the jaw a couple of times, doing some organic movement. We want to get rid of any tension that's in our face and jaw. Let the breath come to a nice relaxed breath. The tongue can fall down in the mouth, releasing any tension there in the face. And bring some gentle awareness to your toes. And imagine the breath coming in through the toes, into the sole of the feet, into the heels, washing away any tension. Gentle breath. Draw the breath into the ankle, into the shins. Imagine this breath has healing energy attached to it. And as it washes up through your feet and shins, cleansing and clearing and rejuvenating your lower legs, into the knees. That breath moves up into the thighs, the upper leg. And that breath energy comes into the hips and swirls around in the hips, cleansing and clearing any problems with the lower digestion. And it moves up into the tailbone,
Moves up into the lower spine, covers across the kidneys, into the liver and the colon, the organs that make us male and female. Draws up into the belly and radiates across the lower back. Nice, healthy breath. Moves up the spine and into the rib cage. And that beautiful breath comes into the lungs and it wraps around our heart and gives our heart a beautiful, beautiful hug of health. It just radiates in our heart, just radiates pure love energy, healing energy. And the breath moves up into the breast and the bones of the breastbone and the collarbone, and it comes up through the thoracic spine, across the back of the shoulders, healing. Comes across the top of the shoulders, and it comes into the throat. And it's just going to hang there for a couple breaths. And then I want you to imagine that breath coming into your fingertips and into your thumb, into the palm of the hand. Imagine it like little balls of energy held in your hand. Comes into the lower arm, into the elbows, up the upper arm, and into the shoulder sockets. A little extra light and love into the shoulders. Comes up the back of the spine into the cervical part of the spine, back of the neck. And it comes into meet the light and the breath of the throat. And then it comes up into the base of the spine where it meets into the skull. Our earliest memories, our connection with our ancestors, and the knowledge that we have from generations through our DNA. It heals old wounds and old family issues. It comes up into the jaw, into the cheeks, into the mouth, the ears, the temples, the nose. Comes across the forehead and the brow, around the scalp. And it draws into the eyes, and it follows the eye, the optic nerve, to the center of the brain. And it lights the center, the spiritual light, the connection that we have with what we believe beyond us. And lastly, let's draw that breath in through the crown. Feel that breath radiate and touch into the heavens. And the breath radiate and ground into the earth. That connection of earth and heaven through our body, mind, and spirit. The interconnectedness that we have with all life on this planet and beyond. And really, our connection with non-life. Because when we take all of us apart, we're just atoms with electrons and protons and so we see ourselves as this solid mass, but in reality, we're more light and energy than we are mass. Just feel that lightness in your body, that lightness in your spirit. And when you feel ready, bring some awareness to your fingers and toes, your wrists and your ankles, some gentle movement. If you didn't bend your knees, bend the knees. I like to just do a little rocking across the hips there. A little swaying, rocking is good for us. Take a breath in. And on the exhale, roll to one side or the other, whichever one feels good. And I invite you to cradle your head in your hands or bring your forehead to the earth. If anything came up during your practice or your meditation tonight that doesn't serve you, I invite you to let it go. Just ground to the waves. Let it go. No excess baggage. Make space, declutter, minimalize. And when you feel ready, use your strong arms to make your way to seated. Keep your eyes gently closed, your jaw soft. Bring a half smile to your lips. Feel how light the body is here. Very gently bring your hands to your heart, your thumbs to your breastbone. Feel that intention to your heart with gratitude. Thank you for coming to my class. Thank you for sharing this video and this time with me on the mat. I miss you in person, but am pleased that I can reach you through this to keep our Sangha strong and filled with love. Namaste. All right. Did I lose Joan? No, she's still there. Turned the lights off. All right. Oh, crunch, crunch. And recording. I don't know where to end the recording. I think it ends when I do the meeting. There we go. I can pause it right there. Okay, I'm learning. Unmute. How was it?
It was good. Very
Did
good.
it lag?
Pardon
Did
me?
it lag? Did
No.
it lag or?
I don't,
Okay,
not,
'cause when I recorded it last week and I was real choppy, but I used my phone. So I brought my own computer because her little thing I can't get to hook to the internet.
get it
So I thought,
going.
you know what? I'm just gonna bring my own computer. That's why it took me a while to log on because I couldn't figure out how to get out of my Zoom. I didn't see where I could log out of my Zoom so I could log into the Y Zoom, so.
Yeah. That's okay.
Okay,
It was
so-
good. No, I thought it flowed. I mean, I didn't have any lag time or anything on the live video that we just did, so.
Good, good,
Yes.
that's good news. Well,
That's
thank you so much.
All
I'm
right.
gonna go home and have hot apple cider.
Sounds like a winner to me.
See you
Have a
later.
good one.
Bye-bye.
Bye.